Good morning, all. Today we are going to start our very next lecture in the building and town planning. So before starting today's lecture, just go a flashback for that previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we were discussing about the what is the National Building Code and how the building bylaws gonna shape that particular building in any region or area, or we were discussing about what are the building components and what is a town planning component. So in the today's lecture, let's start with the classification of building. Okay, so there are the different types of building as per the National Building Code of India. According to National Building Code of India SP 7 1983, buildings are classified based on the occupancy as per the following. Okay, so there are the different types of classification like the residential building, educational building, institutional building, assembly or institutional building, buildings, business buildings, mercantile buildings, industrial buildings, storage building, and hazardous building. Okay, so let's take a step by step that what is called residential building. This shall includes any building in which sleeping accommodation is provided for the normal residential purpose with or without cooking or dining facility or the both facility, except any building classified under group C. Okay, so it is any building which provides a sleeping accommodation. It's called the residential building. So there are the different types subdivision in the residential building, like the rooming houses or a single room building, one or two family private dwellings, detached bungalow, semi-detached bungalow, dormitories, apartment houses, hotels. Okay, so this all type of the buildings are called the residential building, which provide the sleep accommodation with or without cooking or dining facility. Okay, so next one is a educational building. That shall includes any building used for the school, colleges, or daycare purpose involving assembly for instruction, education, and recreational, which is not covered by Group D. Okay, so any building which are used for the school, colleges, daycare purposes involving assembly for instruction, education, and recreational, in which which is not covered by the Group D. So this is called the educational building. Next one is an institutional building. This shall include any building or part thereof which is used for the purpose such as a medical or other treatment or care of persons suffering from physical or mental illness, disease on infirmary, care of infants, convalescent and or aged person, and for a penal or correctional detention in which the liberty of this inmate is restricted. Institutional building ordinarily provides sleeping accommodation for the occupants. Okay, so there are the different types of the institutional building like the hospitals, custodial institution like jails and mental asylums, panel and mental institution. So this type of the building called the institutional building, which are governed by the some authority or by the government, which includes purposes such as a medical and other treatment or care of person for suffering from the physical as well as mental illness. Okay, so this is called this is an institutional building. Next one is assembly building. That shall include any building or part of a building where group of people congregate or gather for the amusement, recreation, social, religious, patriotic, civil, travel, and similar purposes. For example, theaters, motion picture houses, assembly halls, auditoria, exhibition hall, museum, skating rings, gymnasium, restaurant, place of worship, dance hall, club rooms, passenger station, and terminal of air, surface, and marine public transportation services, recreational piers and stadia, etc. So building is nothing but where the people are gathered in the more number for the amusement, recreational, social, religious, patriotic, civil, travel, or similar purposes like theaters, exhibition halls, dance hall, restaurant, and so on. Okay, There are the different types, sub classification in the assembly building. D1 type building have a theoretical stage and fixed seat for over 1000 per person. D2 building having a theoretical stage and fixed seat for less than 1000 person. Building without a stage having accommodation for 300 or more person but no permanent sitting arrangement. D4 building without a stage having accommodation for less than 300 people. And D5 all other structure designed for assembly for people not covered by the subdivision from D1 to D4. So in the D1 building, there is a fixed stage and fixed seat of for over 1000 people. In the D2 building, there are a theoretical stage and fixed seat for less than 1000 person. In the D3 building, there are no particular stage and accommodation is limited to 300 people or more, but not having a permanent sitting arrangement. In the D4 type building, without a stage having accommodation for less than 300 persons. And a D5 all other structures designed for assembly of people not covered by the subdivisions in D1 to D4. Okay. So next, business building. This shell includes any building or part of a building which is used for the transaction of business other than that covered by group F and part of the building covered by 3.1.1 for keeping accounts record and similar purposes. Professional establishments, service facilities like city hall, town hall, courthouses, libraries shall be classified in this group so far as the principal function of this is transaction of public business and keeping the books and record. So the business building nothing but a commercial complexes in which the business activities or employment activities are gonna take place. So which is used for the transaction of the building or for keeping of account and record and similar purposes. Okay, so there are the different subdivision in the business building like E1, in which offices, bank, professional establishment like office of architect, engineers, doctors, lawyers are fall in this E1 type category. In the E2 type, there are the different type of employment activity are gonna take place like the laboratories, research establishment and test houses. And E3 is a computer installation. Okay, so there are the different three subdivision in the business type building. So next one is a mercantile building. This shall include any building or part of a building which is used as a shop, store, market for display and sale of merchandise, either wholesale or retail. There are the different subdivision in the mercantile buildings like F1, which includes shop, store, market within an area up to 500 meter, and F2 includes underground shopping center, departmental stores with an area more than 500 meters square, storage and service facility incidental to the sale of a merchandise and located in the same building shall be included under this group. So there are the different there are two different types of the subdivision in the mercantile building, F1 and F2. Okay, next one is an industrial building that shall include any part or a part of a building or a structure in which products or material of all kinds and properties are fabricated, assembled, manufactured and processed. For example, assembling plants, laboratories, dry cleaning plants, power plant, pumping stations, smokehouse, laundries, gas plants, refineries, dairies and sawmills. We are fall in this type of category. So there are different types of the industrial subdivision like G1 building used for the low hazard industry. So what is a hazard industry? Okay, there are the different types of the manufacturing unit which use the hazardous chemical in their manufacturing process. So for the general people it may be harmful to the some extent. So this type of industry falls into the hazardous type of building. So in the non-hazardous type or the basic industrial building, there are the different classification. G1 which includes building used for the low hazard industry, G2 building used for the moderate hazard industry, and G3 building used for the high hazard industry. Okay. Next is a storage building. This shall include any building or a part of a building used primarily for the storage or sheltering, including servicing, processing, and repair incident to the storage of goods, awards, and merchandise, except those that involve highly combustible or explosive product or material like the petrol and the other type of chemical or the gaseous material, vehicles or animals, for example, warehouses, cold storage, freight depots, transit shed, storehouse, truck, marine terminals, garages, hangars, grain elevators, barns, and stables. Storage properties are characterized by the presence of relative small number of person in the proportion to the area. Any new use which increase the number of occupants to a figure comparable with the other classes of occupancy shall change the classification of the building to the new use. For example, hangar used for the assembly purpose, warehouse used for the office purpose, garage buildings used for the manufacturing purpose. Okay, so if the occupancy and the number of occupants are increasing day by day, so there are the chances of the provided new change in the classification of storage building, just like hangars used for the assembly purpose, so which fall in the industrial building type, warehouse used for the office purpose, which fall under the business type building, and garage building used for the manufacturing, which also fall into the industrial building. Okay. Next one is a hazardous building. This shall include any building or a part of building which is used for the storage, handling, manufacture, and processing of a highly combustible or explosive material or product which are liable to burn with extreme rapidity, or which may produce a poisonous fumes or explosion, for storage, handling, manufacturing, or processing which involves highly corrosive, toxic, or noxious alkalis, acid, and other liquids or chemicals producing flame, fumes, and explosive, poisonous, irritant, and corrosive gases, and for the storage, handling, or processing of any material producing explosive mixture of dust which result in the division of matter into the tiny particles subject to the spontaneous ignition. So there are the different types of the materials, or there are the different types of the manufacturing unit which produce this kind of the hazardous or poisonous material or poisonous fumes, so which are classified differently from rather than above building type categories. So if any kind of that particular materials which harm the general people or the occupants, so it is a fall in the hazardous building. So generally the hazardous building are constructed outskirt of the city, so that no general people would harm in the particular manner. So there are the different types of the classification of building, like the residential building, educational building, institutional building, assembly building, uh, business building, mercantile building, industrial building, storage building, and hazardous building. Okay. Provision of national building codes and rules. This part set out the standard space requirement of various parts of the building and those of the light and ventilation. Some of these items depend on the number of person who would normally occupy the building, for which the occupant load should be worked out for the table here under. So there are the different types of the occupant load calculation are given. So if any residential building, the occupant load per 100 square meter of a plinth or covered area is 8 meter. Okay, in educational there are 25, institutional 6.60, assembly with a fixed or loose seat 166.6. So this is a kind of a reference which are given by the National Building Code. It is not necessarily that provide is or stick to this number, but for constructing that kind of facility or that kind of building, just provide the minimum criteria which are given in the National Building Code. So there are the different types of the National Building Codes which are available for the structural facility, for the architectural composition, for the lighting system, for the ventilation systems. So for the structure system, there are the IS code 456 or 800 which are given by the National Building Code, which also identify the various factors or various methodology which are included in the construction of the building. So there are the different types of the space requirement. Okay, the first one is a main building. The plinth or any part of a building or outhouse shall be located with respect to the average road level from the site, so that adequate drainage of the site is assured, but at not height less than 45 centimeter. So the main building are located from the above average road level, so that adequate drainage or a drainage pipeline are to be provided. Next one is the interior courtyards, covered parking space and garages. This shall be raised at least 15 centimeter above the surrounding ground level and shall satisfactorily drain. Habitable room size width. Okay, so there are the different types of the rooms like habitable kitchen, pantry, bathroom, water closet, combined bathroom and water closet, store, projection rooms, canopy rooms. So there are the different minimum requirement for the plot size which are below 50 square meter or above 50 square meter. So just go through that particular classifications, that what are the minimum size and width required for construction of that particular kind of facility or occupancy. Okay, just take an example like that. If we want to construct a kitchen in a residential premises which plot size is up to 500 square meter, so the area required 3.3 square meter, width 1.50 meter, and height is 2.75 meter are required. So this is a minimum criteria which are given by the National Building Code. But if you have more amount of area or more size of the plot, so that you can provide as you can provide as big as that particular size, but just stick to that. You cannot provide less than this type of the projections. Okay. Okay, so in the previous lecture we know that what is a building bylaws, so I will skip this. So there are the different types of the definitions which are going to affect. The first one is an alley, a narrow street or passage between or behind the buildings. Okay, so what is called the alley? A narrow street which are to be provided, just a moment, which a narrow street or passage between or behind the buildings. Okay, next is a alleyway. Alleyway is nothing but a proper passage which defines the roadway between two buildings or two road. It's called the alleyway. The next one is an arcade, a covered passage at the side of the building. Next is back, an outside area behind a house or other building. A backyard, in the general term, we can say that a backyard area behind a house covered with a hard brick or stone surface. Backyard, the area behind a house often used to construct a small simple building for people to live in. So we see that in majority of a bungalow there are the backyards, and there are the servant quarters are to be constructed. So this called the backyard. Blind alley, a narrow path between or behind the building that is closed at one end. So blind alley is nothing but a passage that closed at the one end and the starting at the very started at the very starting of the building or to the next building. Next one is a boma, a area surrounded by a fence and sometimes covered with a dry grass roof used for the outdoor meals and parties. Okay. Next is a campus, a area of land containing all the main building of a large company or an organization. If we talk about our college building, so we can say that it is a campus. So in the campus there are the different kinds of the buildings are available, like there are the different types of department, the library building and another type of building. So it is called the campus. Next one is a car park, an area or a building where people can leave their car for a short time. Cloister, a covered path around an open area in the center of a large building such as a monastery. Close, the area around a monastery include the building belonging to it. Court, a courtyard, a square area that is surrounded by building or a wall. Deck, a wooden floor that is built on the outside of the back of the house. The usual British word is a decking. Wooden floor that is built outside a house or a garden. Driveway, estate, forecourt, frontage, garden. So this is the basic terminology which are going to take place. So this is a very important. What is a setback? In the land use, a setback is a distance which a building or other structure is set back from the street or a road, or a river or other stream, a shore or a flood plain, or any another place which is deemed to need the protection. So setback is nothing. The distance is the distance which a building or other structure is set back from the street. Okay, so there are the different type of the margins are left by the developer or by the construction engineer. So for the protection of the inhabitants, the setback is provided, and in the National Building Code there are the predefined setbacks are given for the residential premises as well as commercial premises. So next one is a FAR terminology. FAR means a floor area ratio, is the ratio of the building's total floor area to the size of the piece of land upon which is in built. The term can also refer to the limit imposed to such as a ratio. So formula for FAR, floor area ratio, is equal to total amount of usable floor area that a building has, or a zoning floor area upon area of the plot. So the FAR means it is kind of a FSI, floor space index, that how it is useful for defining the it is useful for defining the particular height of the building. So the FAR is the ratio of the building's total floor area to the size of the piece of land upon which it is built. The term can also refer to limits imposed on such a ratio. Okay, design and drawing of the building. The information should on the locating drawings will be overall size, levels, and reference to the assembly drawing. They are intended to show the location of works, not detail. The location drawings, which can be plans, elevation, or section, are numbered consecutively with the prefix L. Okay, so this is the main thing, that if you are a civil engineer and you have to provide a particular design or the plan of a building, so there are the three different types terminology in the drawings: the plans, elevation, and the section. The plans is the top view of any building, which generally shows that how the wall systems are available and what are the free passages are there. Elevation is nothing but the front side view of the building, and the section is that it is cut into the half, or the wall cut into the half, and what kind of a material are used, and what are the structural capability, and what are the structural reinforcement are used, it is shown. So there are three different types of the terminology: plan, elevation, and the section. The plan is a top view of any building, elevation is a front view of any building, and section is a cut half of the any building. Typically, location drawing will include a block plan, site plan, floor plan, foundation plan, roof plan, section through the entire building, and elevations. Okay, so there are different types of the plans are available. The block plans is in the easy manner, it is called the key plan, which typically shows that where your particular plot is located in the surrounding region. So it is in the block plan. In the site plan, in the site plan, sorry. In the site plan, your particular land width and your land or plot measurements are given in the site plan, and the vicinity of your plot, that what are the what is the right side premises or what is the left side premises are given. The next one is a floor plan. Floor plan is a typically plan that how the wall systems are to be constructed, and what are the free passages, and what are the dimensions of the rooms and the other utilities. In the foundation plan, what kind of the foundation and where the proper foundation or concreting work are to be needed are developed by the structure engineers. Thereafter the roof plan, in this and thereafter section through the entire building. And the elevation is nothing but providing a visual or graphical interface to the general people, that house or any building will look after the look exactly like that after the construction. Okay. Site plan usually show the exact extent of the site but not surrounding detail. Recommended scales: the location of the building in the relation to their surrounding, the topography of the site with the both existing and finished level, building to be demolished or removed, the extent of earthwork included cutting and filling, and the provision of bank and retaining walls, road, footpath, hard standing and paved area, planting, the layout of the external service runs including drainage, water, gas, electricity, telephone, the layout of the external lighting, fencing, walls, gates, the location of miscellaneous external components, bollards, litter, beams, etc. So the site plan includes each and everything, that what are the surrounding buildings are available and what kind of or what extent the earthwork are needed or to be done. Okay, so this is the different types of the functions that carried the site plan. The next one is a floor plan. Floor plan usually shows the layout of room, key dimension and label, and also may use a convention and symbol to show material and location of fitting and appliances. Recommended scale is 1 gem, 1 gem 200, 1 gem 100 or 1 gem 50. Design concepts and philosophy. Philosophy of design is a study of or assumption, foundation and implication of design. The field is defined by an interest in a set of problem or interest in the central or foundational concern in design. In addition to this central problem of design as a whole, many philosophers of design consider this problem as they apply to a particular discipline. Although most practitioners are philosophers, several prominent designers and artists have contributed to the field. For introduction to the philosophy of design, see the articles. So this is a kind of a floor plan. So this is the kind of a floor plan which includes the dimensions of the room and what are the key parameters which we are going to consider, like the dining, garage, master bedroom, porch, great room, bedroom, study room. Okay, so so this is called a floor plan. There are the different types of typical floor plan for the ground floor, first floor, second floor, and the terrace plan. Okay, so the next one is okay. So we are ending our today's lecture. In the very next lecture, we will gonna see that what are the principle of architecture and what are the principle of planning. Okay, so just to take a brief look on the principles. Okay, so there are the principle of planning. So the different types of the principles are available. So in the very next lecture, we're gonna see that different types of the principles of planning as well as the principle of the architecture. Okay, so if you have any queries, just drop a message for that particular section. Okay, thank you.